say, at the general election probably in a couple of years' time. I think actually once the result is in, I'm not sure how much it matters. I think what is more important is her support amongst the parliamentary party. Remember, lots of her MPs have not, even now, come out publicly to back her. Now that's quite unusual. If the party goes against what the parliamentary party wants, then that can cause quite a lot of difficulty. Now, some people will say Jeremy Corbyn, it happened to him. He had hardly any backing amongst his parliamentary party, but the membership loved him and went for him. And it can cause a lot of problems. She, of course, inherits a very healthy majority from Boris Johnson. So there shouldn't be too many problems in the parliamentary side, unless, of course, she tries to do things which they find very controversial. So I think that's the key thing here, bringing that divided party together. A party that's been in power for a very long time, been through incredibly difficult times. Look at our financial crash, go back to those days, then you had the coalition, and then, of course, now the energy crisis, COVID. It's been a torrid time, but I think even having said that, there are lots of people who feel that the party, the government, has somehow lost its way. What is it in power for? What's it going to do? It's that Liz Truss, and we assume it's going to be her in the next few minutes, wants to try and change. She wants to come in with clear ideas, she wants to make announcements quickly, and she wants to deliver. Things that all politicians say they want to do, of course they do, but she says that she can do it, and she wants a team around her that can do it. And I think the suggested makeup of the cabinet that we've had so far, and I haven't had many people say that what we've seen isn't the case, is very much her people. There's not that many people at the moment being named in those big roles who didn't back her. And some people think that's going to be a mistake, that she's not bringing in the likes of Rishi Sunak necessarily into a big role, or any of his supporters. Now, is that bringing the party together, or is that going to lead to further division? I think that is another key issue about how this party, and of course this government, goes ahead and tries to tackle the problems that are coming.
As we look at these images, and again, this is the introductory speech at the session where they will shortly announce the result of the Conservative leadership election. We expect Graham Brady to be stepping up within the next few minutes to give us the result. As we look at these images, Vicky, there'll be people watching thinking, how in touch are these people? They've been immersed in this internal battle. The country's in a bit of a state. People are alarmed and terrified in some cases about rising bills, the state of the economy generally, if we're looking at the recession. And this party, according to critics, looks as if it's more obsessed with its internal politics. Do you think that's a fair criticism? Or, put it another way, how aware are they of that criticism?
I think they will be. I mean, of course, those who've been on the campaign trail have been immersed in all of that. But, they have constituents. They know what people are going through, and it's going to get worse. Now, it has felt self-indulgent. Of course, it has. The process is incredibly long. Lots of people in the party saying we've got to try and change this. I mean, it's particularly, of course, a major issue when you're in government. They've done this now several times whilst being in government. This is not an opposition party switching leaders every now and again because they can't get on. This is a party that's in government and now has the task of tackling these massive, huge problems affecting people's day-to-day lives, and imminently. And lots of people, Tories as well as others, have said that there should have been more done earlier. Now, they will say, look, Nadhim Zahawi, for example, the man who's currently Chancellor but won't stay in that role, he's been working on things. That the civil servants, that the government machine has been working on things, and they have been discussing it. Liz Truss's team, of course, is not going to be announced and then come into it. And here we are, we can see them now coming forward. The two candidates, Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak.
So they're approaching, they're taking their seats in the front row there, surrounded by their own supporters, and of course, we're in
Liz Truss's husband sitting next to her there.
To the right-hand side there, Liz Truss's husband. And we're just, with Therese Coffey just sitting behind, and I can see Michael Fabricant behind her. So a good representation of ministers and backbenchers. And now Sir Graham Brady with the result of this Conservative leadership election of 2022.
Thank you, Andrew. Good afternoon, everybody. On the 7th of July, the Prime Minister announced his resignation as leader of our party. The 1922 committee then organised 5 ballots over an 8-day period, concluding the part of the leadership election for which we have responsibility, and putting forward the candidates to the National Convention and CCHQ for the programme of hustings all over the United Kingdom, and the ballot of the membership that is now concluded. I work closely with the board of the party, CCHQ, and Civica electoral services to ensure that all qualifying members had the opportunity to vote, and to ensure that our ballot was secure as well as free and fair. I'd like to thank the 1922 executive, and in particular my fellow officers, Naz Ghani, Will Ragg, Sir Geoffrey Clifton-Brown, Bob Blackman and Gary Sambrook, and our staff for all of their help and support, especially during the administration of the parliamentary rounds of voting. I would like to thank the party board and staff for all their hard work organising the hustings, which allowed so many members to see the candidates in action, whether in person or online. I'm grateful to CES for the professionalism with which they have dealt with the ballot in distributing, collecting and counting the votes, both online and by post. Finally, I want to thank all the party members who have taken this responsibility very seriously, all the candidates who put themselves forward for election, and in particular, my colleagues Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss, who ran such excellent campaigns in the full glare of media scrutiny and who showed themselves to be outstanding candidates to be the leader of our party. Now the result. I, Sir Graham Brady, the returning officer for the Conservative and Unionist Party leadership election, declare that the total number of eligible voters was 172,437. The turnout in the election was 82.6%. The total number of votes rejected was 654. The total number of valid votes given to each candidate was as follows. Rishi Sunak, 60,399. Liz Truss, 81,326. Therefore, I give notice that Liz Truss is elected as the leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party.
Sir Graham, it's an honour to be elected as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party. I'd like to thank the 1922 committee, the party chairman and the Conservative Party for organising one of the longest job interviews in history. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank my family, my friends, my political colleagues and all of those who helped on this campaign. I'm incredibly grateful for all of your support. I'd like to pay tribute to my fellow candidates, particularly Rishi Sunak. It's been a hard-fought campaign. I think we have shown the depth and breadth of talent in our Conservative Party. Want to thank our outgoing leader, my friend, Boris Johnson. Boris, you got Brexit done. You crushed Jeremy Corbyn. You rolled out the vaccine and you stood up for Vladimir Putin. You were admired from Kiev to Carlisle. Friends and colleagues, thank you for putting your faith in me to lead our great Conservative Party.